All the roll and go, where am I to go? Meet Johnny, where am I to go? For I'm a young and a sailor lad, and where am I to go?
Hello, and welcome to Where Am I to Go podcast. Today, before we start the show, I would like to bring up some business things that have kind of been on my mind so that you can know where to get more Where Am I to Go. First off, I'd like to talk about the Facebook page at Where Am I to Go podcast. It's on Facebook, and we've been posting some wonderful pictures of some of the places that we've been and some of the adventures that we've had. Not everything that we go and do is made into a podcast. And so we take pictures at different places and post those pictures so that you guys can enjoy some of the different places we've been. Also, I really am interested in listener feedback. I have an email address at whereamiitogopodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is whereamiitogopodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear some of the listeners' comments and some of their ideas of places that might be interesting to visit and go and do. Hello, and welcome to Where Am I to Go podcast. Today I was in Newport, Oregon, walking down the main street, and I came across the coolest, oddball little store that I have ever seen. And this place is just so neat. I stopped and I asked Kevin and Monica if they would be willing to kind of give us a tour of their store, explain some of what they got, and just take us through here and keep me intrigued, because this place is absolutely intriguing with the different things they've got. Sure. Your store is called
Femme Fatale, Curiosities, and Apothecary.
Femme Fatale?
Femme Fatale.
Femme Fatale. Okay.
Yeah, and we opened up in 2020 during the pandemic. So we've only been open a short year and a few months. We signed our lease back in January, and everything had to close. So we were closed for 6 months before we could open, which was a scary ordeal. We have another shop down the road, Bohemian Candle. That's been in business for 13 years, but both shops were closed down, and we had projected of being open in over spring break, and that, of course, with COVID, it didn't get to happen.
But it looks like you had lots of times to get things set up.
We did.
Because this store is set up so nicely. It's easy to get around in, and yet you can't get around because you're too busy looking.
Well, that's what we love. I mean, I hope that there's a lot. I mean, there is a lot in here for everybody to see. One of the things that we did, like setting up the shop, we set it up a lot of people don't realize this until after I tell them, but it's set up in the stages of life that you would go through. So as you walk in the front, this is life. This is where, it's happy and beautiful. And as you progress to the back, it gets a little darker.
It does get a little darker.
Mm-hmm.
It actually gets a lot darker.
Yeah. So we have, we have a lot of local artists and things in here that we curate. Most of everything that we've done in here has been here in Oregon. We actually make all of our candles, make them for the shop and for the shop down
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where that's what we started out doing, is candle making and incense making, and we needed a spot to manufacture everything. And when this spot became available, it was perfect. But instead of opening up another Bohemian Candle, we opened up a curiosity shop.
Oh, and yes, you did open up a curiosity shop. Now, explain exactly what Apothecary is.
Apothecary?
See, I can't even say the word.
So we initially started out, we were going to sell herbs in here.
Okay.
And we were going to be where you could come in and you could scoop up your own herbs, make your own tinctures for whatever health reasons or whatever magical purposes you have. But when COVID hit, we couldn't do that. So right now we're just kind of we source all of our apothecary medical type of it's a healing.
Right.
Yeah. So
And it's a natural
it's based
healing.
it's based on 19th century the decor
Old school
anyways.
drugstore.
Yeah.
Yep. That is really cool.
Yeah. So that's what's happened. That's what happens up in the front.
And then we got Curious. And
Yeah,
the Curiosities
and then we get
came in.
Yeah. And well, I had attended my first Curiosities Expo in Portland in 2019, and that's what sparked the idea.
Oh, okay.
And that is such a huge venue. I thought it would be really cool to like condense it and make it smaller and make it available to everybody every day instead of just once a year.
Cool.
So that's really where it all started.
Well, let's take a walk through this store and just talk about some of the things to see. Now, this is a store. You said that most things in here are for sale.
They are, yeah.
But yet it's displayed in the way of a museum. It's just it's so intriguing the way that you have the museum and the store aspect kind of blended.
Yeah.
More so than like an antique store.
Right. Well, I think that's what sets it apart from other places. I think that's what makes it so unique and so appealing to a lot of people is they feel like they're walking into a museum, but they also get to purchase some of the items that are in here. And I've never been in a shop like this.
I have never been in a shop like this. That's the reason I'm back here doing this, is because I normally take on museums. I do some small businesses that I find unique.
Right.
But this one here is such a cool blend of the two.
Thank you.
That it's really, really neat. We started out with the beginning of life, you said.
Yes.
And as we come back here, we come to a cabinet that has, I'm assuming, some different old apothecary apothecary items.
You can say medicine.
Wow. But we got to get pre-medicine so that but this is some of the snake oil type stuff that was
absolutely
available, all in the original boxes.
Mm-hmm. Some of them have never even been opened. Some of them are
Old new stuff.
Yeah, and these are all for sale.
And you haven't tried any of them?
No, absolutely. I mean, we've thought about it, but no, we haven't tried any of them. But yeah, they're all for sale. I'm so in love with the packaging. Like, I wish medicine came like this today. Like, the packaging, the fonts, the graphics that they use, to look at some of the ingredients on some of the things. And, you know, really they were good for nothing. I mean, they'd probably kill you today.
Cured everything, but really
cured nothing. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I know that they used mercury for a lot of things, and mercury is highly toxic, but at the same time, it cured the ailment that they were after.
Right.
I would say, I shouldn't say, but I would say a lot like chemotherapy nowadays. It has such a harmful effect on everybody. But yet it still has a tendency to correct. Cancer.
Yes.
So, did it work? Did it not work? Is kind of all up to what you had and how bad the side effects were.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we do have some, and we also have some human skulls in here. This one was actually one that we purchased. One of our employees, her grandfather was a dentist, and this came out of his office.
It looks like he had some dental problems.
Definitely missing the bottom teeth, yes.
Yeah, impacted wisdom.
Yeah. And
really?
I think that you can see it on, can you see it?
Mm-hmm. It's on his right side here. Or what would be his left side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And you got an old set of dentures in here, an old glass syringe, it looks like.
Yeah, there's a lot of
artificial arm.
Yeah, the prosthetic arm. That's a cool piece. That was actually off of somebody in the Midwest who was a painter, and he painted with that thing.
What, really?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it attaches maybe to your bicep and then comes on down at your elbow, and then it's got a hand. Now, is there mechanics that make those fingers move?
There's not, no.
So it's just a real wooden arm.
It is, yeah. It actually looks like, it kind of looks very feminine to me, but it was on male.
In World War II that lost his arm in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. And he was able to hold a paintbrush with that.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, it is. And he probably did a better job than what I
He
do.
probably did. And then, I mean, looking around, we just have, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that we have found here in Oregon. My husband and I, we love to go out picking, and so on our days off, that's usually what we're doing, is we're out looking for other things to bring into the shop, because as soon as we bring them in, a lot of them fly out. There are some things, though, that we will never sell.
Like the human brain here. This left side of the human, real human brain. And we do have little pieces of mine that are for sale. Over here we have little cubes of human brain that are for sale for purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sitting inside of what? Is it formaldehyde or alcohol? Alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's a half a brain.
Yep, it's the
Yeah,
left
it's
side.
a real brain.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you've got some other medical
Yeah, we have some
teaching
Yeah.
tools and stuff. You've got a kind of a fold-out paper model that has a man on it, has a big picture of an eye, and then you can open up the chest cavity, and I'm sure you see intestines and that kind of stuff. It shows the blood vessels and the feet and down the legs, and I'm sure that was probably at one of the medical schools to just kind of get you going.
That is from the 1800s, and that was a piece that I actually won off of an auction.
Oh, really?
So that is an NFS. That is a not for sale.
It's a survivor.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the fact that it is still in one piece is unbelievable, because it's very detailed on the inside.
And it looks very fragile.
It is very fragile.
Wow.
But
Yeah, this thing's probably, the man is probably 5 foot tall, so all of the organs would probably be very similar to the size and everything that we would have if we were cut open.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible piece.
It is. It is just, I don't know if I want to use the word beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
It is. And then you've got some shrunken heads up here.
Yeah, so those are made by an artist out of California, and she does the most amazing carvature out of clay, sculpturing out of clay, and she does those are our morning hags, and then she also does little elves that we have in the next room as well.
Okay.
But she's a lot of fun. And then we also have an artist out of Astoria who does all of the pen and ink drawings, these posters.
That have skulls and
they're a lot of fun, and they're really popular in the shop. Yeah,
kind of like Grateful Dead album covers.
Yes,
or something.
yes, absolutely, yeah. But this is our memento mori area. This is kind of our. We've got the hair wreaths there. And
that's kind of what you and I started talking about was hair wreaths, and I don't know if we've really covered much in the way of hair wreaths in any of our other podcasts, but these wreaths, the best thing I can tell you to do is to Google hair wreath and take a look at the images, because these things are unbelievable. The detail, they made little acorns and little flowers and little scroll work things, and
and the time that it probably took them to do this. I mean, it's becoming an art form again. Like, there are people that are out there that are teaching how to do this now.
Really?
I don't know if I have the patience for it.
I definitely don't. I didn't know that you could bend a hair that way.
I'm too involved in my Netflix Dexter, so I don't know if I have the time for that, but it's definitely a beautiful art form, and I mean, something amazing to keep. I mean, I remember being a child, and my mom, she would always take with the babies, always take a
little clip of hair.
But to turn it into a piece of art is just...
And this is probably where that originated from. I know I went to a hair museum in Independence, Missouri, and the lady had probably 2,000 different pieces of hair art.
Yeah, it's
incredible. It was just incredibly amazing. But
and they're hard to find. They're just not.
Nowadays,
right.
That lady probably has all of them.
No, she doesn't. I know where there's.
Except for two.
There's one in a museum in Thermopolis, Wyoming.
Okay.
There's one in a museum in San Angelo, Texas,
Okay.
that I've seen. There
Yeah.
are some around. They're very, very few and far between.
They really are.
And it's amazing that you're even selling these things because, like you said, they are so hard to find. But the intricacy and the detail in these pieces of art just boggle your mind.
Amazing, yeah.
And like I said, Google and look up hair art or hair wreaths. And they use these prior to photographs.
Yes.
And that way they would be able to keep a memento of grandma or aunt whoever or whatever. And they would add all that to the wreath. And a lot of these are family histories.
Right.
Because you've got 100 years of additions to this wreath.
Yeah.
And
can you imagine? Like, to me,
It's a
that's
long range dedication focus.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Just amazing. And then we turn around the other way and we get into something that I have never seen any actual pieces of, and you've got 6 of them here, and they're face masks, death masks.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain some of that.
So these are called medical wax moulages. They come from the UK. These date back all the way to the 1800s, and the ones that I have were used as medical teaching tools.
Okay.
So they would take a wax impression upon death, and then they would use it as a teaching tool later on. So because photography wasn't something that was around,
Right.
or readily available, like we have today.
And so they'd use like a plaster to cast these faces?
Yes, and then they would wax them and use them.
And the detail with these are amazing. I mean,
they have real human hair attached to them, and they are painted to make them appear more realistic, but they're just incredible. It's probably my favorite thing that we have in the shop. And
they are way cool. It's like I said, it's one of those things that when somebody died, they would plaster their face and then they would fill it with wax. So these things look very human, to say the least.
These
they
are
look
truly the
very
faces of the 1800s.
Right. And you can see the nostrils, you can see the lips, you can see the wrinkles in the face, you can see the eyebrows. I mean, it's just amazing. And I know that they made a lot of these death masks of like early outlaws and some of that kind of stuff. And that's, like Jesse James or whatever, when he ended up dying, they would make the face masks. The
Abraham
death masks.
Lincoln has one.
Okay. Yeah. And so it was a common practice, but I just have never seen an actual face mask that this is just astounding.
Yeah, this is the one right here in the center was actually my first piece that I had purchased, and then it just became an obsession, and I had to find more. I mean, but they're not out there. They are not out there, and when they are out there, they get snatched up right away because they are so rare.
And these ones here being medical, you said that one of them, how did these people die?
Well, a lot
are
of them
showing?
I don't know, but these are all assumptions. This one a lot of people think that's an apple in her mouth. That's actually her tongue, but it's swollen. So it could have been anything from Black Plague, because that was known to cause swelling of the tongue, to anaphylactic shock. We've also been told that it could have been a hanging.
Which is why the eyes are covered up.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the eyes would bulge out.
Yeah. But then we have like this guy up here. He's missing part of his, it looks like half of his bottom lip.
Right.
So I mean, that could have been anything from cancer to a canker sore, because back in those days, people would die of canker sores.
Right.
So.
Wow. This is just amazing to see. Like I said, I've read about them. I have never seen one.
Yeah, they're beautiful. There's something really beautiful about them.
Almost haunting, when you really look into their face.
A lot of this store is really haunting when you look in through the front door.
Well, that's good.
That's the intrigue.
That is part of the goal.
We've had a couple of incidents in the shop that have been a little, not disturbing, but that kind of startle us. Like one night my husband and I were working here, and we were pouring candles and doing what we do in the evening when it's quiet and when we can. And both of us looked up because we both heard a voice, and it sounded like it was coming from the middle part of the shop, and sometimes we've been known to leave the front door unlocked
Right.
when we're in here. So we thought maybe somebody had ventured in, but we distinctly heard a woman's voice, and she said, "Hello." And I looked up, and I was looking at my husband like, "Oh shit, it's 9:00. Like, why is somebody in the shop?"
Yeah.
And so I was like, "You go look. I'm not going to go look." So he came out, and there was nobody in here.
Wow.
And we were just like,
Mhm.
"Okay, that was crazy." And then we've had things like we've had a lamp. One of our lamps broke one day, just fell and shattered on a table, and then the same day, within probably like an hour of each other, a bottle fell off of one of the shelves up in the front of the
Really?
shop. So that was kind of like unnerving a little bit. Lisa, have you had any experiences in here? Anybody grabbing you or touching you?
I have met some scary people.
I'll bet you attract some scary people. Not you. I'm saying the store.
My sarcasm is just going to count. The scariest thing in the store is that we're connected to the common wall. Next door is a restaurant.
Okay.
And the scariest is that we hear everything that comes out of that bathroom.
Right.
That's the most frightening
That's a good
thing.
one.
That's true. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Says the woman who's dressed in all black and hanging out in this store. So now we get to the
Kind of the
Relics,
religious,
yeah.
spiritual section. Yep.
and you've got a black dress and a
Victorian
baby.
morning dress. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an authentic Victorian morning dress. Women would actually wear those for sometimes up to 2 years.
Really?
After somebody would pass. And I mean, I can't imagine. Like, the material is not breathable. It's got to be hot in those, but they would wear them for up to 2 years. And the religious relics, I've always been drawn to them. It's just something, I'm not a religious person, but I love.
And you've
I
got
love what
some.
comes out of the churches.
You've got some Mary statues and some
Yeah.
Jesus statues and some that looks like a Catholic priest attire of some sorts or another, maybe from the 1700s. Just lots of different religious.
I mean, it's
symbolistic type things here.
It's all really beautiful.
And then we have a human skull that was actually a Haitian voodoo skull.
Oh, really?
Yes.
A Haitian voodoo skull. And so it must come from Haiti.
It comes from Haiti.
They were also known to, the Haitian people were known to keep these in their homes. It was a symbol of good luck, and it was also supposed to bring them good health.
Oh, really?
So it's not uncommon to find a Haitian voodoo skull in the homes of the Haiti people.
Really?
This one still has hair attached to it.
Huh. And it looks like the skull has been...
Dug up.
Is it dug up, or did they just remove the brain so that there wasn't an odor? Or?
Yeah, it does look like there's been some sort of skull capping.
And there's some mummified skin on the top.
Yeah. Wow. And then we've got another face mask, death mask.
Yeah, you
From
talk about this.
from what we know of it, it was used in a Oddfellows. What would you call it? Club
or fraternity or whatever it is.
Yep. And as part of their initiation.
Okay.
Or their mock
Yes.
mock funerals that they would have.
Okay.
But that is real human hair that's
Yeah,
on the mustache.
The mustache is real human hair.
Yeah, it's a cool looking piece too.
Yeah.
And then
Well, so this area normally, this is what we call our purgatory area. So it's neither heaven nor hell. It's a place of transformation and change. Normally, it is filled with butterflies, but we are our butterfly source right now is not going to be here until the end of this month. So it will be once again filled with butterflies.
okay.
But this is just an area where the walls are filled with butterflies. Right now we've got some old Ouija boards on the, they're from the 70s,
Okay.
right? The
Yeah,
Ouija
well,
boards.
those are 50s, 60s Ouija boards. The oldest one I have is over 100 years old. It was made
Wow.
somewhere between 1911 and 1914, and that's up on the wall behind you there. in the
Okay,
center.
okay. Yeah. And then you've got some amethysts.
Yeah, we do carry crystals in here.
And then there's something I don't want to buy. I don't want to even really be around it.
There's
this black goat with the
You're the only
Baphomet.
one who doesn't want to buy it. Everybody that comes in the store asks.
And where are you going to put it?
Asks if it's for sale, right?
Where
Have a
are you
secret
going to put
bed.
it?
Come on.
Yeah, right above my bed. Yeah, we've got a black goat with big old horns and just almost kind of a, well, no. It's downright freaky looking goat. I'm not going to go almost freaky. It's going to go downright freaky.
He was actually our first,
Yeah.
I think he was our first
I think
taxidermy
so,
piece
yeah.
that we brought in here. And so he was kind of the watcher and keeper of the shop while we were getting it all set up.
No
So-
wonder you have goblins in here.
Yeah, he's right at home here.
And then
So, yeah,
you got a Victorian style chair or Louis XIV style chair.
Yeah, we
And
have
you've got
lot of
a
that
skeleton
furniture.
sitting in there that is, it's a reproduction
Yes,
with a little
absolutely.
kid sitting in his lap
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
sailor suit.
So the furniture is all for, well, most of the furniture pieces are for sale in here as well. Like the chairs and the sofa. We had another sofa that was similar. It was more of a chaise, and that one sold. But yeah, we like to change it up.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't want to sell any of the furniture. I like the way it looks. It's perfect.
Actually, I think that a collection like this is kind of a lifelong, you just keep collecting and
Yeah.
collecting.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
And
need
you
a
wouldn't
bigger
really want to
space.
sell anything
No.
other than that dadgum goat.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes to watch stuff go out that you have a lot of you get attached to it because you don't think you're going to ever find anything like that again, and sometimes
we
that's
don't.
the case.
Yeah, and we don't. Yeah, because a lot of times people will ask if something's for sale, and I'll say, no, that's not for sale. My husband just kind of looks at me like, we did not go into business to not sell anything.
Right.
We're not charging admission for the shop, so.
And like I said, it's as much a museum as it is a shop.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We do sell tarot in here. We have a big selection of tarot cards in here. This is kind of like our sea cabinet.
Okay, you got a sea monster, or what is he?
We have a lot.
the
That's
top.
the Medusa.
That's the
actually.
Medusa.
Medusa.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the snakes now. I do see the
Yeah.
snakes. Then you got a shark jaw in front of that.
Yeah, but we keep our little our compasses, and we have some old books, old vintage books in here. Our little baby sea otter.
Yeah. And then we get into another room.
So this is our
Red room.
watch your step.
Right.
Yeah, this is well, I mean, for lack of a better word, people call it hell.
It kind
but
of
I-
resembles that. I'm
yeah,
glad that you said that because I hadn't quite put two and two together yet, but we got it now.
Yeah, so this down here, this is a forever resting box or forever resting bed. We're not sure of the origin of the bed, where it's from, but it was a beautiful piece, and I had a human torso that dates back to the 1900s, and I knew it would be the perfect place to honor it and keep it in here for others to view. And then, of course, it's topped with a death mask. The death mask does not go with the human torso, but I think it fits perfectly.
Oh, it definitely
Yeah.
looks like it belongs here. And this
Yeah.
would this be considered maybe a viewing box or
I believe.
or what would it be
Possibly.
considered? It's kind of like a extra large coffin.
Yeah.
And it has a glass top on it. It's got some beautiful scroll work on
Yeah.
the front and knobs on the end that are kind of like bedpost knobs that are 4x4 and stand up about 6 inches that have lots of beautiful carving on them and basket weave work and some of that.
They're like
And-
artichoke.
Yeah.
Artichoke.
That's a good way to describe it. And then the glass lid on it, you can see down into it, and so it almost seems like it's something that maybe a mortuary would have used for
Yeah.
a viewing box
For a
or
small
Possibly.
person, too, because we have one of our employees here who's probably 9. She tried to lay in it, and she's too tall for it. So it's definitely. I mean, I can't imagine what else it would have been used for.
Yeah.
It's too big for a coffee table.
Well, and it's also really wide for a coffin. So.
And it's very old. You can see the tooling marks.
Oh, yeah.
The wood, and it was obviously literally done by hand.
And made by a real craftsman.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. We just don't know where it's from.
No.
That's something that I would really like to know its origin. We're not sure, and the place that we had purchased it from, they weren't sure either. So.
Well, it's just a really cool piece here and then we come on over to the Ouija board table with a skeleton sitting at it and a bust of a lady, and we got a doll sitting in a chair on top of some books with holding its head in its lap.
She's broken.
It looks like she's broken.
She's broken. So this room is where we house our local artist, Jason Stewart. He is out of Portland, Oregon, and he is a tattoo artist by trade.
Okay, I could see tattoo art.
Yeah,
yes.
During COVID, he had to step away from that, and he came into our shop and showed us some of his work, and we kind of collaborated with him, brought in some of his. I mean, this is just a small amount of what we've had. We've sold a bunch of his pieces, but he would come in here and sit at the table and do live drawings. So on the weekends, you could come in on Saturday and watch him work. And his technique is amazing. It's all pencil and charcoal. He does have some digital, but I think we only have one digital piece in here right now, and that's the colored piece that's up there. All the rest is all pencil and...
And what was his name again?
Jason Stewart, and he's out of Portland, Oregon.
If you want to see some interesting artwork, look up Jason Stewart. And like I said, it's pretty obvious that he's a tattoo artist from some of the paintings because it's stuff that you'd see on somebody's arm. But it's interesting to see him in print. Yeah,
and if you get up close, you can see all the fine detail. Like his work is incredible, and it's something that I've never seen. I've watched him. He uses MAC makeup brushes to blend the pencil, but the detail that he puts into every single piece is just incredible.
Some of his stuff he'll spend years on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had a piece that he was working in here on, and I don't even know if it's completely finished.
I don't know if he's finished it, but he started it in 2018.
Yeah, he had been working on it for 3 years.
Wow.
So.
And then, you've got...
We carry a lot of the vintage...
ventriloquist?
Yeah, ventriloquist dolls. We actually acquired those at one of the biggest estate sales here that I'd ever been to.
Really?
And he was a collector, and I think we gathered up the best pieces that he had.
Wow.
And brought them in. And then on Thursdays through Sundays, we have... we offer tarot readings in the shop. Andrea, who's a local here in town, and a friend, she does all of the tarot readings for $25. No appointments are ever necessary. You can just walk in and have a reading. She's amazing.
And then you've got a bookshelf.
We do have
the one that looks right at us is Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
Yes. Now, do you have her axe?
I wish.
No, but we did meet a couple that came in here when we first opened up, and they claimed to have the autopsy table of Lizzie Borden's father.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so I think that they were from Idaho. We did not get their number. I wish we would have, because we had talked about, I had asked her if she was ever interested in selling it. She said absolutely not, that she paid a mint for it. But I asked her if she'd be willing to bring it in and we could set it up to display it.
Oh.
Which I think would have been that would have been really cool. So hopefully she comes back in the shop again, because I would love to have that piece in here on display. Although it does come with some bad juju and would.
I would imagine it would.
Yeah.
And then you've got a book here facing out, A Visitor's Guide to the Salem Witch Trials, Hunting for Witches. Yeah,
so we carry all kinds of books in here. I mean, we have some books, not so much on witchcraft itself, or spells, but more on the history of witchcraft. Our other shop down the road, they carry more spell books and stuff. I like to carry books in here that pertain to like the history of things, and but that's
A lot of different varieties of books you
yeah,
carry.
yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
yeah.
This place just is cool.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a labor of love, and I mean a lot of work. Whoops.
And then we got a Casper the Ghost.
Yeah, that's
That-
the 1960s.
Yeah, I believe that's
original
it.
toy.
Yeah.
And then what's this thing next to it? We got something that looks like a Sasquatch, as far as furry head and squished in nose and
Yeah, that's called an Asquatch.
an Asquatch. I did notice an ass something up front
Yes.
that was the back end of a goat.
Yes, but did you know that one up in the front, if you rub its chin, it'll bring you good luck?
Oh, I'll bet it will. And I probably won't go into great detail of what its chin is, but if you look at the back of a male goat, you can probably get the idea.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun.
Yes.
Those are a lot of fun. Oops.
And then you've got your selection of tarot cards.
Yeah, we carry a lot of tarot cards. They're always changing out. We have 2 cabinets filled with them.
And then I think we've kind of just about gone all the way around here. I guess we've got this cabinet that we haven't talked about that again has more of your
So these are old autopsy tools and autopsy bottles. Some of these bottles were actually just given to us by a customer that had come into the shop. He's a funeral director here in Oregon.
Okay.
And he was telling me that in his funeral home, where they would conduct autopsies, there's a hole in the ground. And when they were done with the bottles, they would just drop them down into the ground. And they don't do that anymore.
Right.
But he said that there were tons of them down there, and asked me if I wanted them. And of course, of course I want them. So I've tried to research these particular bottles that we have, and I think they date back to the early 1900s. I can't find them anywhere on like the design.
Yeah, this one here's got a blue label on it that says double arterial base.
Yeah.
Huh, that has
and
something
it's pleasant to use.
yeah, pleasant to use.
Yeah. But
and pre-injection fluid.
Yeah, the embalming fluids.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And we have, like, when we got the autopsy tools, we had no idea what they were or what they were used for. Some of them look kind of dirty.
Right.
And we had a lady who came in and gave us a little bit of a history on what some of them were used for. Like this particular one is one that is stuck in the neck, and that's where all the blood fluid comes out. She said that is that's your friend.
Okay.
So, yeah, not my friend, but yeah, just amazing. And I'm in love with labels, so it's how I choose.
They are so cool.
Yeah.
And then down here you've got a eye doctor's glass set.
Yeah.
An optometrist. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. That is, I don't know how old that is.
It looks old.
It's very old. And it's
complete.
And it's really rare to find them complete like that.
Right.
So that's another piece that is not for sale in here. I mean, I know I could piece it out and make a mint off of it, but then I'd be left with an empty box.
And then you've got some glass eyes, it looks like.
Yes, so the glass eyes are all made by a local artist, the Wacky Wanderers. They're based out of Lakeside, Oregon. They make a lot of our jewelry for us in here. So they work with glass eyes, they work with genuine gemstones, they make coffin rings and coffin necklaces for us. lots of.
And the two eyes over here on the real human skulls are old German prosthetics.
Okay.
Yeah, those are beautiful. Those are not for sale.
Yeah,
either.
those are cool looking.
Yeah.
It actually almost kind of looks right through you. You
Yeah.
don't want to take your
One
eye
of them
off
actually
that one.
fits in my eye socket.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Huh. And then you've got this skunk up here, a little baby skunk
Little baby skunk.
that's put inside of a glass case.
Close, yep.
Yeah, so that he doesn't.
Smell.
Yeah.
He smells really bad.
yeah,
he smells. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, this is. And then you've got some soaps. Now, do you guys make the soaps also?
So I do make soap. I do not make these soaps. These are made by a local lady who lives in Eddyville, and her husband, they make these soaps for us. I've made soaps in here, but I'm so busy with the candle making that I don't have the time for this. I need a whole nother set and a whole other team to do that. But so we source our soaps out locally.
Well, cool. And you've got a bunch of jewelry here.
We have a bunch of jewelry. This is kind of this is some of the Wacky Wonders, local artist stuff, and then all
Beautiful.
the rest. Yeah, it's incredible. And this is a fun display. We carry a lot of lockets. We do have some Victorian pieces that are in here. Those up there, the Victorian, they're perfume bottles, and each piece of jewelry comes with a cabinet card. These are old watches. They come with the cabinet card.
Now, when you say cabinet card, it's got these look like
They
old
have-
photographs.
Yeah, they're old photographs of people, and it's just how we display. And
That's a cool way to do it.
yeah,
There's tintypes, old photo albums.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the old photo albums. It's kind of my obsession to the Victorian photo albums. We've had some that are music boxes. They're just, to find them in pristine condition, you just don't see that.
Right.
So I collect a lot of those. We have a book back here that has some old tintypes in it, and there's actually a couple of rare photos in there of
Tom Thumb.
well, he's not Tom Thumb.
That's right.
He's actually shorter than Tom Thumb.
Oh.
I'll bring it out. I'll show you.
Okay.
So Tom Thumb was recorded as the shortest man,
Right.
but this guy is shorter. But he did not go into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, look at those pictures.
And there's his name.
Chaz Decker.
Mrs. Chaz. Is it
Mr.
Chaz?
Mr. Chaz Decker. And how tall was he?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I had a book at one time.
That's okay.
Yeah, I had a book at one time that
talked
told,
about
but
him.
We're
but I
going to
think
say he's really short.
But I think he's like, he was a half an inch to an inch shorter than Tom Thumb. So
Really?
however short or tall Tom Thumb was.
Huh.
But yeah, super cool.
And these here are all tintypes.
So some of them are, some of them are not.
Okay.
And I didn't, this is a book that is for sale as well, but it's not, it comes with all of the pictures that are in there. I'm not
Yeah, those
taking
are
them
all
out.
original to the album.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really cool.
Isn't it gorgeous, though, too, the leather binding and
Yeah.
the latches
yeah.
that are used on them.
And it looks like there's probably 50
you see the
pictures or better.
embossed?
Yes, I can. There's like a rose or a flower
Yeah.
of some sort embossed in the pages.
Yeah, they're
the top of the
beautiful.
pages when you look at them.
They're beautiful.
Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to bring me through the store and talk to me about
Well,
this.
thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the shop.
It's way cool.
Thank you.
And the way I always finish things out is the world is full of wonder.
Yes.
People need to get out and explore. And if you get a chance to come into this store in Newport,
Oregon. Yes.
yes, Newport, Oregon. I was going to say Newport. I'm getting all my places. Waldport, Newport.
Some
Yeah,
kind of port.
some port. Waldport. Yeah. If you get to Newport, Oregon, they're right down next to the river, pretty much on the riverfront, the old town,
Yeah.
and right off of the
Historic favorite.
highway. And this store is a must see.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you so much.
Get out and explore these places, and everybody have a wonder-filled day.
Haul the roll and go, where am I to go? Meet Johnny, where am I to go? For I'm a young and a sailor lad, and where am I to go?